Cooled off nice last night, about 70 degrees. Gonna be 100 soon, so gonna let the heat out of here while it's cool. Hit the air compressor for the day. Clayton's got some work to do. You can see one forklift tire that's went flat yesterday. More than anything, what makes Western the success that we are today is the fact that we've been able to build on all of the earlier successes and processes and knowledge that's been accumulated over 56 years at this point. Take a quick look behind us and you can see each of these sets here is packed for each of the trips that it'll go on. So we've been able to get ahead last week. My story of being here is one of amazing luck. You know, someone says, why are you here? And the answer is, what luck? When I was a kid, my father, one of the original owners of Western River, Lynn Keller, sent me down here to learn how to work. And I started working in this warehouse when I was 16 years old. And over a lot of years, learned to get a lot better at what I do. And as a parent, I have a child to whom I've provided the opportunity of learning about what we do. And in providing that opportunity, in many ways it removes other opportunities, because given something like this, why would anybody choose anything differently? Let some heat out here. We need to check our walk-in fridge and freezer, make sure they didn't fail overnight. It doesn't happen often, but all right, our walk-in fridge, we have food for today and tomorrow. Deliveries just came in the last 2 days. You can see each corner here has food that's been allocated by the trip it's on. So we've got these really specific packing lists. Take a look over here. As food comes in, for example, a case of avocados right here on the wall, we've got the spreadsheet of who gets how many of what. So we got that all broken down. A lot of food we get, it comes by the case. And food quantities, we have to make sure we have enough. We can't order half cases of things. We're in a place called Fredonia, Arizona, a town of 1,500 people. It's this small little blip on the map. We don't even have a grocery store here. Our nearest store is in Kanab, Utah, a town of 3,500 people. So we've got to pre-order stuff. And if we don't have it, we can't necessarily get it. So we have to source things a long ways ahead. Some of the vendors we work with, for example, our meat packer needs 6 weeks notice. So it's hard for us to accommodate extra requests and things outside of the scope of what we do. It's just a very limited place. The one thing is we're right next to the Grand Canyon, and that's what makes this work. Well, come on up, let's look at the freezer. So here we have the frozen food for the week. As deliveries come in, last 2 days we had 3 semi-trucks come and we unloaded them in here. Each of these are partitions for each trip that they'll be on. So everything's kind of pre-packaged. Again, we've got a list here of what quantities go for those trips. And we've also got an ice supply. If we start the 1st of March and pull 3 ice machines a day, 125 blocks, we can get this far ahead. Well, this time of year, we've been eating through our reserves because we just can't make enough when it's going to be probably 112 in Grand Canyon today. So ice is critical. Come on out and we'll talk a little more about ice for the week. That sunrise, man, it is going to be nice out there. Let's make sure ice machines are working right, and then we will go brief the guides for the day. All right, so first of 3 ice machines. Seems perfect, everything nice and cold. This just freezes ice between plates. Crushed ice machine, that's going to be emptied out today. Here's the ice we pulled last week, and this will be emptied out this morning. Tomorrow we'll be using the reserves that we saw in the big freezer. The other part about making our ice is, first of all, town of 1,500, you can't buy ice. And the ice that we make here is a lot denser than ice you buy at the store. Because it freezes water, it comes out a lot denser. Store-bought block ice is actually made with some of that crushed ice. They have this machine that chips it, and then it condenses it into bricks and freezes it. it actually has a lot more airspace in it, and it doesn't last nearly as long in the Grand Canyon, where we've got to provision trips that not only do a 6-day trip or a 7-day, but then when those guests helicopter out, we get another group for a 3 or 4-day trip with us. So we're provisioned for 2 weeks. These boats going out this morning won't get back till next week. And this driver, when he drops these guides off today, he will continue around to Lake Mead and pick up trips that departed a week ago. So we need to have our ice last. We need to have everything last. So quality is really important here. And then we got the emergency sat phone. And this morning we need to, for trip briefing, we need to print out weather forecasts, water flow, make sure everybody's on top of what to expect this week. Everybody who's worked here has put their heart into what we do. We do something that is known around the world for how unique and remarkable it is. We have something important to celebrate today. Kelly was the most recent amongst us to hit the 100 trip landmark. So Kelly hit that landmark just her last trip and has selected her photo for us. Today we have an organization where our average guide has been with us about 14 years, and the legacy they leave behind is the body of knowledge that they impart to those that they're training and working with today. We have a lot of second, third generation people working here today, and again, it's just a matter of helping people, giving them the freedom to look at what we do, to be empowered to make it better than it is today. All right, Wiley, you've got 25 and 28, 2 extra crew. Latimer Smith is really important here. That's the guy who makes everything happen. There are so many hundreds of details, gear, equipment, people, needs. Everybody needs to have a Latimer.
And what I like about it is it has a lot of variety. There's also enough autonomy that I get to do certain things my own way. Preparation, a lot of logistics, but the reward is kind of seeing the finished product, which is the river trip go out smoothly, everybody having a great life-changing experience in the canyon.
Some of you booked a year ago. We have a lot of expectations bundled up into the paperwork that we looked at today. We've conveyed that to our guides. They know a little bit on paper about who will be coming to share this experience. Our goal is to make these processes better all the time. And with that, we continue refining and trying to make each experience better than the one before. All right, so now we start packing food. And the good news is that the 3-day trip that's flying in to start today, everybody made it. We had one guest with some flight disruptions last night, but they were able to sort them out. One of the interesting things is that we have trips going and coming in every direction every day of the week. So today we have a 3-day trip that's flying in to start. A couple hours later this morning, we have guests flying in to do a 4-day with us. We also have more deliveries coming because we rigged 3 more boats here tomorrow. And tomorrow we have a trip that comes off Lake Mead, jet boat to the bus and back to Vegas. So we have all of those transportation logistics in play over the next 24 hours that we'll also be tracking from here. We've gotten food over the last few days. Equipment laid out and ready. Everything's been repaired from the last trip. What we've done is we've provisioned these trips for the next week and a half. Those boats need to take everything downriver for both sections of river. So they're fully provisioned here. Canyon's a full circle. There's a 300-mile section where there's no way across by highway. That geographic barrier presents some unique challenges. Start at Lee's Ferry, finish at Lake Mead. If they've left it going out the door, it's going to be a problem. So hopefully they read those checklists carefully. So our driver, John, he drives our blue Kenworth, old blue here. He was here last night pulling together cots and chairs and getting some of our potable water ready to go. We'll be putting boats and frames in here shortly. Guides will be down here on the floor packing coolers and food boxes and getting that ready. Then we start forklifting it in there. We got to get 4 boats in there today.
My job with Western River Expedition is I'm the lead truck driver. A typical day, I will start it at 7 o'clock in the morning. We will spend the next 3 hours or so loading, organizing, and getting the truck ready to go. While they're working on the inside of the warehouse with the food, Teddy and I load the truck. Space management, time management, things of that nature are important to me. What you can't tell when you see a boat on the river is it looks like one big giant piece, but it's a lot of separate components that weigh 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 2,000 pounds. Loading them into the truck has to be loaded in a certain way. It won't all fit if you don't put it in there properly.
These are all the boats for today's trip, going out today.
Driving over and up and over the Kaibab, it is a challenge. The truck is heavy. Trying to get up over there and down the other side, it's a serious safety factor on both ends, but I accept that challenge. I feel like this is my expertise in this. Even though I'm almost old enough to be Trent's dad, he makes me feel so happy here. And these guys, they are my family.
That semi-truck heads over to Lee's Ferry. That is the put-in for Grand Canyon. It's the only place you can get equipment to the river.
At Lee's Ferry, when we first backed down there, dry bags and some of the loose gear is going to come out of the back of the trailer, and then we're going to drop one of those rubber boats on the ground. It's all rolled up like a burrito, if you will, and then we'll roll it out flat. We'll take pieces of the frame, which they come in 3 giant pieces, and we'll put them on the boat that's laid out now, and then bolt it all together, strap it all together. Then we're going to inflate the boats.
They back the trailer in, pull the boats up perpendicular, and start transferring all the baggage boxes. They will then start using the hoist system to drop boxes and coolers. Once they get that done, they'll pull off out of the way and start lashing everything down, making sure everything's tied down, secured, running through the equipment. We also have a checkout by the National Park Service. Part of our permit is that we're required to adhere to a very lengthy list of essential requirements that help make sure that our industry is as safe as possible. Once everything's checked out, ready to go, then they start lining out dry bags for our guests who will be flying and driving in early tomorrow morning.
It's an exact science, if you will, that piece together when it gets out on the river to where our guests get to be a part of some of that. They really have no idea what has taken place to get it to that point. It has all been choreographed like a stage play, if you will. And then I'll be on my way around the Grand Canyon to the pickup point at the other end, and I will finish probably tonight around 10 o'clock.
The guides usually by then grab a quick bite of dinner, get a good rest. We try and eliminate impediments so that people can come and have that experience that they've never had anywhere else in that unique place, off the grid, you know, down within those canyon walls, on the Colorado River, sitting on those sandy banks at night, riding on a raft, whatever it may be. Our product is making lifelong experiences and memories for people. To us, it's a service-based focus on creating an experience, opening up the magic of what the Grand Canyon has to offer. When you're down there at night and you're laid out on your cot and you've had this amazing, exhilarating day full of fun and conversations and experiences and sights and hikes, and you lay down and the moon peeps over the rim, the full Milky Way. Who knew that there were so many stars at night? So yeah, the night stars and seeing the constellations and all of the other things that add to that we can't see from our typical homes. It's amazing. To me, the nuances of a river trip. We go to see the Grand Canyon, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, this stunning place known for how big it is. But what makes it great are all the little details that make up the whole. We're not just the stars, but looking at the little ferns, the plants, the grains of sand, the fossils in the rocks, people having those moments of discovery at all the little pieces that make up the whole. That's one of the big revelations that I enjoy seeing on people's faces. My daughter works at the Bar 10 Ranch. She sent me an email from the ranch last night that said, "Dad, we've got 5 people here. They came with us 20 years ago as kids, and now they're bringing their families back." So that kind of story is a real part of what our history is. We do appreciate all of you being interested in what we do. It's not as glamorous back here at our warehouse, but at the same time, it's fun for us to be part of the excitement that our guides carry to and from those days down in the place that we call home. For those of you who have or plan to travel with us, we welcome your blogs, any kind of photos on our photo sharing site, and we also appreciate the surveys that you send in, giving us written feedback. Having it interpreted through your eyes, having your honest and open perception, sharing that with our potential guests makes a world of difference for those who are trying to decide if this is the right experience for them. So we'd love to have you look at our website, westernriver.com, and see which of these might be best for you and your family.